It's Dudley Dawson from Hogville joining us here on Halftime. Dudley, always appreciate you. Good morning. What you up to today?
I'll just, enjoying a day off from baseball, but we'll get back at it this weekend. So just kind of enjoying the day off, I think.
What's to enjoy about a day off from baseball? My whole thing is, why do we even have off day? Look, I get it in college. It's different from pros. But now that I don't have crossover season anymore, Dudley, I'm almost ready for 21 consecutive days with a baseball game. I
hear you.
guess I got to wait till tomorrow, though.
Yeah, I'll be watching spring baseball. I'm just talking about taking the day off from writing it, and all that stuff. So.
Hey, I saw where Hagen pitched yesterday again. A couple of innings. He's pitched, I think it's 3 scoreless innings in his first 2 games in spring training. I just kind of wonder if that's a franchise that's going to be bringing him up to the big leagues this year.
Yeah, you hope that they bring him up when it's the right time instead of getting him, just rushing him there. I'm sure they'll leave him down and let him get a little seasoning. But, they've got a team that certainly has a lot of Razorback flavor on it, but they've also got one that needs to make a trade in the outfield with Lewis Robert and do a few things before they start really challenging. And I think that it's gonna be a precarious situation for him. He's certainly got the arm. He showed it again in these stretches of spring training with the strikeouts. He worked out of a couple of runners on, and in his first stint that I watched there. He's going to be a great one. We know that, but it's just you hope they don't rush him too much.
Hey Dudley, with this Arkansas basketball team, we've kind of, I don't know, over the last couple of days, like, what was one word to describe this basketball team? Somebody said resilient, somebody said inconsistent. What would you say about this basketball team, and what are your expectations? Can this team, could they make it to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament, or is their ceiling just getting into the NCAA tournament?
Well, I tell you, I think mine would be 2 words: Space Jam, because they look like those guys without their powers on Saturday at South Carolina. I've been covering basketball here for 40-plus years now, and that was one of the worst efforts at trying to put the ball in the hole I've ever seen. And but then they come right back and are just knocking shots down, against Vanderbilt. So it's hard to label them anything but inconsistent. But I do think, you're maybe 1, maybe 2 wins from, locking yourself in there. I think you definitely got to win 1. You could be safe. I'd say win 2 and, get one in the SEC tournament because you never know about these bid stealers and stuff. But, man, they have what a wild ride these last few days have been.
No kidding. No kidding. And it's the inconsistency, and maybe it's not that, maybe that's not like the word to focus on. I think some of it has to do with just the 7 players, and you don't have the ability to really win when 2 or 3 have an off day, and that will happen every once in a while. It's just difficult to get 7 guys going in the same direction on a consistent basis, and all the energy that it takes to win a game when your dudes are playing 34, 35, 36 minutes. I understand highly trained athletes, very young, there's still wear and tear, and there's still, even if you're a tiny bit slower than your opponent and they're just as young as you are, that can make a difference. This team can't be in the first 4, I would think, if they're going to get into the second round. Are we in the first 4 still something to worry about, or do you think, just kind of getting a bid into the first round is what you're looking at now?
I think you're just getting a bid and figuring it out from then. If you could, if you could win Saturday night and Saturday, I think there'll be a really good crowd. I think that'd be an opportunity for them to pick up a win. Chris Jans has done a really good job at Mississippi State, but they're not playing as good as they have been at this point in the season. And so I think that's an opportunity with the fan base maybe excited again and getting out there on Saturday. That'll be something that'll give me the opportunity to get over the edge there. Then you just got to look and see what happens with the SEC tournament pairings. They're maddening, but also quite fun to watch when things go right and you see what 7 guys who are avoiding foul trouble, which I think is another big thing there with the 7 guys. And I know you could throw some other guys in there, but his rotation is 7 guys, so you've got to avoid fouls. That's something they weren't doing earlier in the season. They also, again, weren't making the shots inside, and they're doing far more of that now. Again, I've never seen a team that missed so many shots just at the rim than they were earlier in the season.
Yeah, I think our 7 guys will be more athletic than Mississippi State's. Their first 7, they'll have a little more depth. What do you buy into any of this fact that, I know you said we're going to play them at night, but we're playing them at 11 a.m., and those early tip-offs haven't been good. Have you seen teams where they just they play better at a better time slot?
Well, it's shout out to Hog Stats for his stats on this. They play great in these late night games. Nobody wants to stay up at that late for them to start, and it was ridiculous. That would start at, at 10 Eastern time, the other night. 11 a.m., I think, could be a problem. They certainly, in those games, have not fared as well as they have at night, according to those stats. But you're playing with a sense of urgency right now, and surely you have to have this one. So I think they'll go out and play like their hair's on fire.
Remind me about Mississippi State and how they might match up against Arkansas. I haven't really watched them very much. I do view Arkansas as a team that can give teams trouble scoring around the rim, and it is impressive how they defend without fouling. Because, to me that says something about athleticism, because if you're defending that hard and you're playing 34, 35 minutes and they're defending well, it's not just a matter of letting guys go and not fouling. But how do they match up against the Bulldogs?
Well, Mississippi State has a really good inside game, both offensively and defensively. They're not Texas A&M, but they're somewhat of an image of that team in that they really go to the boards. Not great shooters. They have a couple of guys in the backcourt that, carry them a little bit. But they're another one of these teams that go to the boards like Texas A&M. They don't mind if they miss the first shot. They're going to go try to get the second one. Arkansas has got to have another effort like it has really these last 2 from Jonas. And you got to give him a lot of credit. Everybody was casting him aside, and he was the only one getting rebounds last Saturday, and really in that first half, only one getting anything down. And then he had another good game the other night. And you just gotta do what you did the other night. And again, that's play with urgency, don't foul, play defense, but at the same time, you have got to get to the boards against this team.
Hey, what's up with your boy out there on the East Coast, Pritchard, man? Can anybody stop him? You just let him on the court, and, 10 of 16 from the three-point line. You know what he's doing. How fun has he been to watch?
Yeah, he's been great, and I have a Pritch Please T-shirt that I got early on before he went off this year.
Is he 6'1"? He doesn't look like he's 6'3".
I've stood around him, and he is barely taller than me, and I'm 5'9". He's either 5'11" or right at 6 feet. And but tell you what, he continues to move on the court. He doesn't stay still. He gets open to make shots, and he's been just a godsend for them in terms of they were going to trade him 2 years ago because they had some guys in front of him. And he's really come on, and to do what him and Derek White did last night.
That was crazy. Yeah.
Just a joy to watch. And that was, we had 3 guys in. So.
Hey, Dudley, I wasn't in on the press conference, but I heard about it from with Neighbors the other day, and he's talking about he not making the All-SEC first or second team, and I think she was robbed. I think it has more to do with they don't have enough slots for 16 teams. I think they need more than 16 slots for 16 teams, but. Dudley made his feelings be known on this presser in a way that you really wouldn't be able to do on this phone call right now.
Right. I rarely worry about what people think about what I say, and I really thought the report, or whatever we want to call it, that he was going to resign was just shoddy journalism. If that, you've got to get a quote from him, and you can't just throw that out there and expect people to respect whatever you bring next. And I don't know the dude or the young woman or whoever's doing that.
I think we got to use the word journalism, and it's, I don't know, figure a different word. There's a difference between being a journalist and being a rumor monger.
Hey, man, clickbait is the crazy mistress that'll come back and stab you sometimes. Journalistic ethics is your true love wife that you have to take care of and make sure things happen. Don't go clickbait. It's not your friend.
Yeah. Well, so the women's season's over. What I think the coaching staff is probably safe. What's your view from what you've seen this year and what you think might happen in the future?
Well, let's be honest. It was a horrible season. They were picked 16th, and they got the 13th seed, and so they didn't finish last per se. But I think that it was going to be a bad year. I don't think that the construction of the team, and there are several reasons for that was one that really came together to play in this league. And you and I talked about that at the start of the season. But I will give them credit. I mean, it has been an absolute joy and a frustrating season to watch that Izzy Higginbotham play. And, you wish you could have one more year. I do think that, that there's not going to be a change. I think there's that money coming down the stretch with the court case and stuff is going to play a lot into the resources and what they're going to do in terms with this women's basketball program. But I feel like that there's probably at least one more year in there. But you can't, and he knows this, you know this, you can't go 2 of 8 to the NCAA tournament and continue to the seat not be really hot.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.